The Aldwyn Theatre had been standing for 90 years. It had hosted operas, symphonies, and stage productions that critics had called once in a generation. Its walls had absorbed a century of applause, tragedy, comedy, and everything in between. On the night of June 8th, it absorbed something else entirely. The play was called The Crimson Hour, a murder mystery, 3 acts, 1 killer, 1 victim. 400 seats, sold out for the 14th consecutive night. Richard Cole was the lead, 47 years old, considered by most critics to be the finest stage actor of his generation. He had played this role, a doomed detective who unravels his own murder in real time, for 6 weeks without a single missed performance. The final scene of The Crimson Hour required Richard Cole to stand alone at center stage, deliver a 4-minute monologue, and then collapse. On the night of June 8th, he did exactly that. Except, he didn't get up when the curtain fell. The director assumed it was an extended dramatic choice. The stage manager assumed the same. It was the prop master, crouching at the side of the stage to collect items, who realized first. Richard Cole was not acting. Richard Cole was dead, and 400 people had just watched it happen and called it the finest performance of his career. Mysteria arrived at the Aldwyn Theatre at 11:14 p.m. The audience had been held in the lobby for 2 hours. 400 witnesses, 0 leads. A young officer met her at the stage door, 28 years old, sharp eyes, the kind of confidence that hadn't been tested enough yet to know its own limits. "Officer Ryan Cole," he said, extending his hand. "I know who you are." "Then you know to keep up," she said, walking past him. She stood at the edge of the stage and looked out at the empty seats. Something was already pulling at her, a detail she had caught in the security footage on the drive over. "Pull up the performance recording," she said. "Final scene, watch his hands." Ryan scrambled for his tablet. "What am I looking for?" "You'll know when you see it," she said. 30 seconds later. He touches his ear, twice. "Not in any rehearsal footage," she said. "Not in any previous performance. Only on the night he died." She stepped onto the stage. Something was in his ear tonight that wasn't supposed to be there, and whatever it was, it killed him. The Aldwyn Theatre was a masterpiece of old architecture. Velvet seats, gilded balconies, a stage wide enough to park 4 cars, and a sound system that had been upgraded 18 months ago, the most sophisticated in the city. Every lead performer wore a wireless in-ear monitor during the show. Richard Cole's was custom-built, fitted specifically for his ear canal, his own personal frequency, accessible only through the production's sound console in the engineer's booth at the back of the upper balcony. Mysteria stood in the booth and looked at the console. Ryan stood beside her, looking at everything at once the way people do when they don't know what they are looking for. "What exactly are we looking for?" he asked. "Something that was added," she said. "That shouldn't have been." She found it in 40 seconds, the performance log. At 8:47 p.m., 11 minutes before Richard collapsed, one change had been made to his monitor channel. One addition, a tone, running beneath his normal cue audio. Duration, 11 minutes. She pointed at the screen. Ryan leaned in. "What kind of tone?" "The kind," she said quietly, "that someone with the right knowledge could use as a weapon." 3 people had logged into the sound console on the night of June 8th. Marcus Webb, 38, head sound engineer, 11 years at the Aldwyn, logged in at 5 p.m., out at 6:30. Dana Reeves, 26, assistant sound engineer, logged in at 6:45, remained active through the entire performance. Owen Marsh, 51, the theater's technical director, logged in at 7 p.m., out at 7:22. The tone had been added at 8:47. Dana Reeves was the only active session at that time. Ryan looked at the log and immediately pointed at Dana's name. Has to be her. Mysteria didn't look up from her notebook. The addition wasn't made from the main operator position, she said. It was made from the secondary terminal at the back of the booth, behind Dana's line of sight. So anyone in the booth could have used it? If the primary session was already active, yes. No additional login required. Ryan was quiet for a moment. When Marsh, he said slowly. His session at 7 p.m., 22 minutes. That's a long time for a diagnostic check on a performance night. Mysteria looked at him. He had gotten there faster than she expected. She didn't say that. Pull his background, she said instead. Everything before the Aldwin. Ryan came back in 8 minutes. He put a printed sheet on the table in front of Mysteria. Before the Aldwin, 8 years at a medical research company, acoustic division. What kind of acoustic research? Effects of sound frequencies on the human body. He paused. That sounds like a weapon, she said. She pulled Richard Cole's production insurance file. Every lead performer was required to submit full medical disclosure when signing a contract. She found what she needed on the 3rd page. A heart condition. Diagnosed 14 months ago. She held the page up. Ryan read it. Someone with the right knowledge, he said slowly, could use a specific sound frequency, delivered directly into someone's ear, to trigger a cardiac event, if they already knew about the heart condition. Yes. And Owen Marsh had access to Richard's medical file through the insurance documentation. 8 months ago, she said, when the contract was extended. Ryan sat back. He spent 8 months planning this. At least. She stood up. He accessed Richard's monitor channel at 7:14 tonight. Spent 8 minutes studying its exact specifications. Then, at 7:22, he logged out. But the tone wasn't added until 8:47. Because he didn't add it during his session, she said. He pre-programmed it, loaded it into the secondary terminal, set it to trigger at a specific time during the final scene. Ryan stood up too. Then he walked into the booth at 8:45, 2 minutes before it triggered, to activate it manually, she said, and walk out before it began. Dana saw him come in. She did. Ryan grabbed his jacket. Then we have him. Almost, Mysteria said. We have the how, we still need the why. Mysteria asked Dana Reeves one question. Was anyone else in the booth during the final scene? Dana hesitated. Owen came in briefly, around 8:45. He said he needed to check something on the diagnostic panel. I didn't think anything of it. Did he use the secondary terminal? Yes, he was at the back. I was focused on the main board. How long? 3 minutes, maybe 4. 3 minutes. Enough to activate a preloaded file, set the trigger, and walk out of the booth before the effect began. Ryan was already at the door. Let's go, he said. We go when I say we go, Mysteria said calmly. He stopped. She was still writing in her notebook. What are you writing? The why, she said. She turned the notebook so he could read it. One line. Owen Marsh published acoustic research for 8 years. Someone shut it down. Who? Ryan looked at it, then looked at the production poster on the wall. Richard Cole's name at the top. Richard Cole, he said quietly. He was connected to shutting down Marsh's research. Board member of the firm, she said, 2012. Voted to close the acoustic research division, called it unethical. So Marsh lost 8 years of work, his career, his reputation, everything. And then spent 11 years building back to a position where he had access to the right environment. And the right subject, she said. She closed her notebook. "Now we go," she said. Owen Marsh was still in his office. Calm, cooperative, composure of someone who believed they had committed the perfect crime. Ryan stood in the doorway. Mysteria sat across the desk. "You published research on sound frequencies and their effects on the human body," she said, "for 8 years. A long time ago. Richard Cole voted to shut that research down in 2012. Ancient history. You accessed his monitor channel tonight at 7:14, preloaded an audio file onto the secondary terminal, walked into the booth at 8:45 and triggered it. 11 minutes of a specific sound frequency delivered directly into a compromised heart through a sealed in-ear monitor." He said nothing. "Richard touched his ear twice during the final scene," she said quietly. "He could feel something was wrong. He didn't know what it was. He thought it was a malfunction, so he kept performing." Owen Marsh looked at the desk. "He kept performing," Mysteria said. "Through 11 minutes of something nobody else in that theater could hear, because that is what he did." A long silence. "He destroyed 11 years of my life," Owen said finally. "I gave him 11 minutes. Ryan stepped forward. Mysteria put her hand up slightly. "One more question. Did you ever consider," she said, "that he didn't know what he voted to shut down? That to him it was one board decision among dozens?" Owen Marsh looked up, and for the first time something cracked behind his eyes. Not guilt, something worse. The possibility that 11 years of planning had been built on an assumption that was never confirmed. He had no answer. Mysteria stood up. "Take him," she said to Ryan. Owen Marsh was arrested before midnight. The secondary terminal's access log confirmed everything. A pre-programmed audio file loaded at 7:16 p.m., triggered at 8:47, duration 11 minutes. Dana Reeves was cleared completely. The 400 audience members were formally notified that what they had witnessed was not a performance. Most said later that something had felt different that night, that the collapse had felt too real, that the silence after the curtain had felt too long. They had assumed it was genius. Mysteria sat alone in the front row of the empty theater. Ryan sat beside her, something she hadn't invited but didn't ask him to change. "He kept performing," Ryan said quietly, "even when something was wrong. He trusted his training more than his instincts," Mysteria said. "Is that what got him killed?" She thought about it. "It's what made him extraordinary," she said. "And yes, tonight it's what got him killed." She stood up. "Always trust your instincts," she said. "Is that advice?" Ryan asked. She picked up her coffee. "It's a rule," she said. She walked up the aisle toward the exit. Ryan watched her go, then stood up and followed, 2 steps behind, where he was still learning he belonged. The stage lights dimmed automatically. The Aldwyn Theater fell completely silent. For the first time in 90 years, the silence felt wrong. Richard Cole performed in front of 400 people on the night he died. Not one of them knew what they were witnessing. Not one of them could have stopped it. The weapon was invisible. The delivery was silent, and the killer had spent 11 years making sure the stage was perfectly set. Agent Mysteria solved it in one night because Richard Cole touched his ear. Twice. Agent Mysteria. Case 7. Closed. Case 8. The victim everyone forgot is next.